A 16th-month investigation by Winnipeg Police has resulted in one of their own officers being charged over a dozen times for a laundry list of crimes, which was something of a surprise given that earlier in 2024, the year the investigation started, he had been given the Governor-General's Police Exemplary Service Award. This was an investigation of internal corruption so big the force's 6-strong professional standards unit couldn't cope and had to bring in additional help. The man in question is 47-year-old Constable Elton Bostock, who'd served in the Winnipeg Police Service for 22 years. Yet in 2024, his colleagues reported him over a breach of trust, which led to him and 2 other officers being charged with theft under $5,000, unlawfully being in a dwelling, and obstruction of a police officer. But this investigation gave the police a warrant to search Bostock's phone, computer and home, which is when things spiralled ever more into chaos. Firstly, Bostock had been mixing his police work with another job, drug dealing. His phone helpfully had messages relating to 84 deals for cocaine, amphetamines and oxycodone. With a horrible suspicion where he'd acquired his produce, the police searched his locker inside the station and found more coke, as well as psilocybin. They've since concluded he definitely wasn't stealing the drugs from inside the station where they'd been taken off criminals, but they did discover he'd stolen a load of ammunition from his firearm training days, which he'd passed on to a very much non-police friend. They also concluded he wasn't involved in some massive full-scale drugs ring, he was just a fully independent dealer. The implication is, of course, that if he wasn't stealing drugs from the station or selling them to colleagues, which were both ruled out, then having drugs and psychedelics in his locker meant he'd been doing his shifts while off his face on Charlie and shrooms. Speaking of helping out his mates, they found out since 2016 he'd been getting their traffic tickets cancelled, which was the least worst crime in this episode, but it did get him a charge of obstructing justice. They also discovered he'd been accessing confidential information on the police system and leaking it, but they don't want to publicly say to who or why. He'd also been using his police powers to help connections out by playing strong-arm. He took another veteran, 15-year Constable Vernon Stratinsky, to an address in full uniform and marked car, breaking in to try and evict the residents. So far, just the extremes of being a corrupt thug, but he was also charged with committing indignity to human remains and knowingly distributing an intimate image, and I regret to inform you that both of these involved the same incident. On his phone, they found a photo which they worked out was taken after Bostock was sent to a call at a home on May 21st, 2021. The photo was of the half-naked woman's corpse, which he found inside and then forwarded on. Bostock was placed on administrative leave, remanded in custody, and his award stripped. He held it for just 364 days. Investigators think they found everything, and I quote, barring anything unforeseen coming to light, but that pretty much describes the entire situation anyway. A police spokesman refused to say whether Bostock was being paid while on this leave, which probably means he is. Chief Bowers tried to assure people, my message to the citizens of Winnipeg is you can be assured that the majority of our members, they truly care about this community, although obviously majority isn't always a particularly high number. I must stress this hasn't reached court yet, so it's not impossible that Bostock will be found innocent and the investigation is incorrect, but that's a lot of varied crimes to make a mistake about, and if he is convicted it will prove a lot of the claims that circulated about him among the public beforehand.